Hey guys, Mr. Amari here with a quick review of how to work with TinkerCAD using our basic shape tools, the basic controls, and how we can use these to make our first project, our keychain. So, as a reminder, we have some simple tools here to work on the work plane. We have the work plane itself, that we can use this box in the top corner to click on and move so we can see it from every view. We can also right-click our mouse button and move our mouse to move it a little smoother. We can also zoom in and zoom out using these zoom in and out buttons on the left side here. And no matter what view we're looking at, we can always go back to our front top view by clicking the home button on the left side here. Now to start with our keychain, we first have to use a basic shape. I'm going to start with the box shape because I want to make mine a rectangle. I'm going to click on it and drag it out onto our work plane. You notice a lot of things happen as soon as I pull it out onto the work plane. First, you'll notice that we have this big menu open up. This is our options menu for the shape. This will give us a lot of different things we can change about the shape, and we'll talk about that more in a moment. The most immediate thing you'll notice is that the shape that's on the plane has all of these boxes around it. These are called bounding boxes. This literally shows us the boundary, or where the sides of the shape begin and end. These are like handles we can grab. Like if I left click on this one in the corner, I can grab it and drag it to stretch it or squash it and basically change the size and shape of my basic shape. You'll also notice that as I move it, it'll show me which directions I'm changing. You'll also see that it gives me measurements on the bottom and on the right here. This is giving me right now in inches how big my shape is. You're probably starting in millimeters because by default, TinkerCAD shows things in millimeters. If you want to change it to inches, you can go to the settings button down here, and you can change a lot of settings about the workspace. I would suggest leaving most of it the same. The only one you might want to change again is inches. Usually it'll be on millimeters by default. I have mine set to inches. Once you have it set, you can just close your settings and the options will now be changed. So for my keychain, I want to make sure it's small enough to fit in my pocket. So I'm going to make it about 2 inches by about ½ inch. I can do this by grabbing and moving the handles. You'll also notice that when I click on it, these numbers show up in these white boxes. If I click into these white boxes, I can actually type into it to give an exact measurement if I know the exact measurement I want my object to be. I can also change the height by using this white bounding box at the top here. This is going to be a little too tall for my keychain, so I'm just going to click and grab and bring it down. And now I have a rectangular keychain that's going to give me what I need for my project. Now we'd like to add a design on here. We can go ahead into our basic shapes, and we can do a lot of things here with our basic shapes. I can go ahead and grab a star if I want to. Obviously this is going to be way too big. Now if I want to scale this down and make it smaller again, I can grab one of the handles and just kind of drag it down. You notice the height is staying the same, the length and the width is changing. If I wanted everything to change uniformly, what we call uniform scaling, I can hold down my shift key and then click and hold, and this will bring everything up and down the same measurement. Once I have it the size that I want it to be, I can go ahead and place it onto my keychain. I usually like to use my top-down view when I'm designing this way, just so I can get a good idea of how everything is laying out. And here we have my little star on the side, which I like. Now I want to customize it a little more, so I want to put my initials on here. I'm going to go up into my basic shapes menu over here and click on the text tool. The text tool will literally let us bring out 3D text for anything we want to type. Now this obviously is way too big, so again, I'm going to hold down my shift key, grab one of the corners, and I'm going to uniformly scale it down. I'm going to drag it over here, oops, this is a little too small. It's below my rectangle here. That's okay. I can actually use this little cone shape at the top, acts as a handle. I can click and hold on that, and I can then pull up or drop down my shape in Z space. That is up and off the work plane or down onto the work plane. So here we go. I have it sitting right on top of my keychain here. I'm going to center it, and obviously I don't want it to say text. So in order to change that, I can go back into my shape menu here where it says text. And we have this box here that I can change. I can click in, and instead of it saying text, I can type in pretty much anything I want. Here I have my initials with it, and I have myself that nice little star on the end. And overall, I'm liking the way this looks. The last thing I need to make sure I do is I need to make sure I have a hole of some sort so I can go and put a key ring through it. To create a hole, we're going to go and, again, we're going to grab our basic shapes. I can go and grab a cylinder because the end of a cylinder is just a flat circle. So I'm going to take that, and again, I'm going to shrink it down by using my bounding boxes. I'm going to go ahead and put it onto my actual design here. And you'll notice that it's kind of like off to the side. I'm not really centered on it. If you want to center on an object that you are working with, there's this button here, the Fit to View Selected Shapes. You just have to click on the shape you want to focus on and click that button. You can then, of course, use our minus button here to zoom out if it's too close for you. Once I have this the size that I want it to be, and I have it placed where I want it to be, let's say right about there, let's say about that big, I'm going to go ahead and make this into a hole. Now the first thing is I want to make sure that the shape is moving through the shape I'm creating a hole in. So we're going to make this a little taller, and then we're going to grab that handle at top and we're going to punch it through. So we see the shape at the top and at the bottom of the shape that I want to create the hole in. Now the problem, of course, is this is still a solid object. If I print this, this will print as a piece of plastic. What I can do then is I can go into the options menu for the cylinder, and where it says solid, I can go right next to it, and I can see where it says hole. If I click on that, you'll notice that it becomes transparent. This is letting us know that anything inside the transparent shadow will not be printed by the 3D printer. So I can see that this area right here, straight through the rectangle, will not be printed when I print this on my 3D printer. Overall, I'm pretty happy with my design here. I can go back to my top view to get an idea of what this looks like. And not bad. This is a pretty decent looking keychain. Now, you might notice that everything's still kind of their own separate object here. When I go to move something, each individual piece moves, and I don't want that to happen. I need it to be one solid piece before I can go ahead and send it to my printer. To do that, we need to do what's called grouping. To group it, I'm going to go outside of all my shapes. I'm going to left click on my mouse button. Then I'm going to drag my mouse, and I'm going to make sure that my red box is at least touching each of the things I want to group. I'm going to let go, and you'll notice that in my shapes menu, it has 4 shapes selected. That is the rectangle, the star, my initials, and the hole. Then I'm going to go right above it, and we're going to see this button here that looks like a sphere and a box being smashed together. That's the group button. You can also hit Control and G on your keyboard to do the same thing. I'm going to click that button and give it a minute, and you'll notice that it becomes all one solid shape. I can move the whole thing. I can change the size of the whole thing. Everything will scale together now. You'll notice that anything that was set up as a hole now actually shows the hole in it. You'll also notice that everything is now one color. This is because 3D printers will be printing in one color, at least the ones that I'm using in my classroom. And TinkerCAD by default will show everything in one color to give you an idea of what the solid piece will look like. If you'd like it to show up on the screen in the multiple colors that you've designed it in, you can click on your now grouped shape, go into the options menu here and see where it says solid. Click on that. Not only can you change the entire color of the entire thing, but we have a button down here that says multicolor. If we click on that, it will go back to the original colors that each individual piece was, and it keeps it grouped. This way it can still be on screen the way you designed it. Once you have this finished, we just want to make sure we can save it so that we can go ahead and get it printed. Up at the top, you'll see that it has this kind of weird gibberish name that it created when you created your new design. What we're doing is we're going to click on that, and we're going to change that name. We're going to change it to your name, the word keychain, and if it's done and ready to print, the word done. This way, when I look through your work, I know that it is done, and I can go ahead and put it on the printer. Once that's done, I can go ahead and click this TinkerCAD logo, and that will save my work and bring me out to my portfolio menu. I hope this is helpful, guys. I hope you're having a good time with TinkerCAD. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video.